Because it is dynamic balance between the practitioner and the world, it works in both directions in ways that we cannot fully understand, so that we who are sitting in Zazen are freed of the split between body and mind, cut away from the various indoctrinations and thoughts we have accumulated from the past, and thus realize in experience the real and pure nature of this world. In each of the infinite ways in which the truth of this world demonstrates itself, the practitioner acts as an awakened being, spreading this awakening to people far and wide who are waiting for the key to finding reality and manifesting oneness with reality in the state of balanced action. With the awakening of the practitioner, all things in the universe show their real nature. Receiving this profound assistance from everything around them, practitioners of Zazen directly manifest their state of wholeness. Practicing and experiencing this state of oneness with the external world, they transmit it to those who interact with them, who are also endowed with the limitless virtue that is awakened state. This activity expands and grows until it fills both the inside and the outside of the entire universe with the truth of the world, which is beyond limits and cannot be analysed or measured. However, the balanced state itself is unaffected by the individual positions from which each of these individuals sees the world, since in its quietness and with no intentional activity being pursued, the state is the direct experience of reality. If we divide the result of our practice from the practice itself, as people do in their minds, we observe two distinct things that we think are separate. But that state, which is a mixture of observing and thinking, is not the state of direct experience. Because this, the standard state of experience, does not include any kind of judgment based on feelings. In the quietness of Zazen, our separate thoughts and perceptions of the world at one moment disappear into the wholeness, which is the direct experience of reality, and at one moment appear together again from the wholeness. This drifting in and out of wholeness is our experience of natural balance. So the drifting in and out does not disturb anything at all. It is the working of a Buddha in Zazen. In this, everything in the natural world radiates the brightness of the present and shows the fundamental and exquisite nature of reality endlessly. Everything in the natural world is then showing the truth to all people, both ordinary and great, and at the same time both the ordinary and the great are themselves showing the truth to the natural world. In this real experience, there is then no separation between being conscious of ourselves and being conscious of the world around us. No moment is idle in the balanced state in Zazen. Even one person sitting for one moment in Zazen becomes whole with all things in the universe through the whole of time. In this way, Zazen, the work of Buddhas, extends through the past, present, and future. Everyone who practices Zazen experiences the same. The practice resonates within us like a bell. It resounds within us up to our next practice and extends again on afterwards. How could the practice be limited to this place? All concrete things in the world are in their normal state in this practice of the original state, but it is beyond our capacity to understand this intellectually. Remember this. Even if all the Buddhas that exist everywhere, more numerous than the number of particles in the universe, were to use all their wisdom and power to analyse the experience in Zazen of a single person, they would be unable to even come near to describing it. I have described here how great and high is the value of Zazen, but there may be ignorant people who are wondering about what I have said, and might ask these kinds of questions. There are many ways to practice Buddhism. Why do you say that Zazen is the only way into the truth? And I say, it is the authentic gate to the truth, the Buddhist path. And someone asks, why do you say that only Zazen is the authentic gate? And I say, it is the only method that Gautama Buddha taught, and all Buddhas of the past, present and future use this method because they are taught it by a real person and then teach it to a real person. This is what I am now teaching. And someone asked, surely ordinary people cannot get the subtle transmission of the truth that Gautama Buddha taught this way. I can understand how reading the sutras and reciting the names of all the past Buddhas can lead us to enlightenment, but just sitting without doing anything, how can you get enlightened just by doing that? And I say, if you think that the way that the Buddhas teach of putting the body right is just sitting doing nothing, you are insulting Buddhism itself. To say that is as deluded as being immersed in the ocean and crying out for water. When we practice Zazen, we are sitting in the state of putting body and mind right. This must have great value. How can you be so inebriated as to not see what this state really is? The state of Buddha cannot be imagined clearly in the mind. Being clever is of no use. If you don't even believe it or are not wise, how could you possibly know? You have to be someone who believes in the right things and someone with the potential to see what it really is. It is difficult to teach people who do not have the capacity to believe in something that is true, and difficult for them to take in what they are being taught. Even when Gautama Buddha gave his talk on Vulture Peak, many people there left, and the Buddha affirmed that it was the best thing for them to do. It is usually the case that we can only continue to train ourselves and practice something when we believe in it. But if we can't believe in the power of Zazen, it is better to take a rest. Unfortunately, learning about and studying what reality is has always been a dry and exact pursuit. Anyhow, do you know for yourself anyone who has benefited from reading sutras or reciting the names of past Buddhas? It may be a mistake to believe that wagging the tongue and raising the voice is the valuable work of Buddhas. Comparing that kind of practice with the way of Buddhas, it fades into the distance. We read sutras to clarify the criteria that the Buddha taught of instantaneous and gradual practice, by which we are brought into the state of experiencing reality. We will exhaust ourselves mentally in trying to attain this state in vain. Chanting the name of a Buddha thousands of times in order to attain the truth is as stupid as travelling north in order to get south, or like trying to push a square peg into a round hole. Just reading sentences without knowing how to practice is like a doctor who doesn't know how to prescribe medicines. Useless. People who just chant endlessly are like frogs croaking day and night in a paddy field in the spring. Completely pointless. Even more, people who are disturbed by the desire to get something material or become famous find it particularly difficult to give up these kinds of practices. The mental attitude to gain something runs very deep and has been around for a long time. How pitiful are such people. Remember, a person needs to follow a teacher who has attained the state of truth and has a clear view of reality. And when that person also practices the state of truth and has the same view, then that is the transmission of the teachings about reality that the 7 legendary Buddhas passed on, and then the exact teachings become clear in body and mind. Teachers who only teach words cannot understand this, so stop these delusions, throw away your doubts, and follow the teachings of a real teacher, obtained through their own experience of the practice of Zazen, and following just what is true. And someone asks, the Tendai and Kogen schools, which came to Japan around 400 years ago, both express the ultimate teachings of Buddhism, and the Shingon school has direct line of teaching from Gautama Buddha. They teach, mind here and now is Buddha, and this mind becomes Buddha. They say that we don't need years and years of training, that we find the truth that the 5 Buddhas found in one go. This is then the ultimate refinement of the Buddha's truth, is it not?